Hello and welcome to Just My Thoughts. I'm your host Khaleel Ward, and on this episode, I'll be talking about Baki Part 2. It's on Netflix, it's a Netflix anime, and it picks up right where Part 1 left off. If you haven't seen Part 1, I'm going to be spoiling things from Part 1. I'm trying not to spoil anything for Part 2, but it might happen. But you should definitely check out Part 1 before you check out Part 2. But the story follows Baki, and he's a 17-year-old who won this underground mixed martial arts tournament. And these five convicts, they break out of prison and they are looking for a defeat. Basically, they want a good fight. I guess they want to die in battle. So they escape prison all these different ways, and this is like over the top anime. Like they all jacked up, super strong, and they do a lot of weird stuff. Like guys have piercing knuckles and stuff like that. So it's a lot of martial arts type stuff. So if you like anime like that, you'll like this. So in part one, I think two of the convicts are defeated. It's basically a all out tournament. It's not a organized tournament. You can fight anywhere at any time, and there's no set opponent. If two people want to go fight Baki, they can do that. And Baki has a group of people with him who are talented as well. So part one ends, and we don't really get to see Baki fight too much in part one. He has this like strength, this inner strength that he like displays his power that way, and instead of fighting, and he like scares people. But in part two, it picks up literally right where part one left off, and we see Baki fight, and we see why he was the champion, because he's nice. He's really skillful. His father is in this season a little bit more than the first one. We know from part one that he's the world's strongest man. Like he could take down armies and countries by himself. That's how strong he is. But we don't really get to see him do anything in part one. We know that he's looking after Baki in a way, but in this season he's walking around. You actually see him attack a couple of people, and he strikes fear in a lot of people. So the convicts are still running around. There's three of them left, and honestly, the knock on this season would be that these convicts aren't as good as the first two. The first two convicts had a bunch of different battles. They pulled out all the stops. They really fought to the death essentially, and these three they're kind of cowardly in a sense. They do a lot of sneak attacks. They have a lot of hidden weapons and stuff like that. You have the guy who does the poison. Then you have this one guy named Doyle who has all these mechanical enhancements. So he has like knives in his elbow and his kneecap and his feet. It's just weird. Like all the three comics that's left, they're deadly, but they're not as cool as the two in the first season. There's a bunch of new faces that we see, just different martial arts people who come out of nowhere essentially, and they just want to get into the fight because it's a no holds bar, no rules type tournament. So all these like Baki has a half brother or something that comes out of nowhere. He's super big and he's growing for some reason, but he's tough and he can fight. This other guy fights in the elements and he turned himself into sand. It was really confusing but entertaining. With the another new person that they had, he I don't know, he was just good with weapons, and he just was pulling weapons out of everywhere. I don't know where he was hiding these weapons, but he was just fighting. He was just randomly fighting people, and it was just fun. It was entertaining. It starts off a little slow, with them trying to find the rest of the convicts, but then it takes on a different type of storyline. Something happens to Baki. He has to go to China, and Retsu he saves Baki, and he wants him to participate in this tournament that only happens once every 100 years in China, and Retsu is like really like backing Baki. Like Baki's nice, Baki's good because Baki beat him in the underground tournament, and Retsu's guy is like, I don't know, and Baki puts on a show again. Again, I don't want to spoil too much, but Baki is nice. He puts in work, and I can't wait to see part three. It does take a little. It takes a strange trip. The last two episodes, I'm not sure if I want to say. I'm gonna say it. Muhammad Ali is in this story somehow, and he has a son, and he has the Ali style, and it's strange but interesting. You have to check it out. It threw me for a loop. I was like, what is going? I was like, this can't be who I think it is, and it was Muhammad Ali, and they were showing him fight, and then he had a son, and he's mad nice too, and he's gonna be in the tournament. So it takes a different angle than part one. It's still all about the fighting, but it seems like this this martial arts tournament in China is more respectful, and more of the original type of tournament where people respect each other. Part one was more cutthroat and ruthless. All the convicts just wanted to fight anyway with no rules. And part two, it's getting more into a more organized traditional martial arts tournament. But it's really cool, and it's really good seeing Baki fight. It's good seeing his father in it. Although it's hard to tell if he's a good guy or a bad guy. He's just super strong and he looks really evil. But he's cool. Retsu is really cool. He does get to fight as well. And it's just a lot of fun. Again, it's called Baki. Check it out. It's 13 episodes, both seasons. So I hope they do a part 3 soon, because part 2 came out fairly quickly. So hopefully part 3 comes out sometime in the summer so they can continue this good storyline and good fighting. But thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. And yes, I did another video with myself on screen. And I have a tripod. And I'm, getting used to it. So subscribe, like, comment, deuces.